Hello, and welcome to another weekly reading. Remember that this is not a personal reading, so you are going to just take it as a collective reading. But if you find yourself here, even if you're out of time from where the week I've scheduled this for, it's still, there's something in it for you. But if you pick a number between 1 and 4, it's going to give you a little bit more personalized focus, okay? I am available for personal readings, so please get in touch if you're interested in that. Okay, the big thing to focus on this week is the Leo full moon that we're having on the 12th, and we still have a very strong Venus and Mars dynamic. Frankincense is the king of oils, hence that's here. Leo rules the heart, hence that's here. So yeah, Venus and Mars are going to be doing their dance, which I mentioned last week, for a while. But I think let's dive into the cards. There's a lot to be said, and I don't like to let these card reading videos get too long. So pick a number between 1 and 4, and let's jump in. All upside down, 2 major arcana. I'll tell you from this distance, and then you can see if you can pick what's what. Start to see if you can recognize, and then 2 swords cards. 1 court card. Okay, so 2 of these cards are 2 of really super lucky cards within the deck, which is the 2 major arcana cards, number 17, the star, and number 19, the sun. But they are upside down, so there's going to be this element of, what is blocked within that fast-flowing, positive, lucky kind of energy? And the suit of air is about our minds. We are still in Aquarius season, and we're going to be having the Leo new moon. So it interests me that this is very much an Aquarian card, and this is the card all about, you guessed it, the sun, and the sun is the ruler of Leo. So there is a very strong dynamic Leo full moon this week, which means the moon is opposite the sun. So the sun will be in Aquarius, opposite the moon in Leo. We're really feeling that dynamic right now, and particularly the more challenging parts of that dynamic because we're all upside down, right? And then, of course, because we've got swords, and swords is the suit of air, this is our mental processing, this is our narrative. And Aquarius is an air sign, and it is in air sign times that we are very airy, our nervous systems need a little bit more support. And this is where I want to come to slowing down, to pausing before we are reactive. Fire, Leo, is very reactive. The other fire signs would be Aries and Sagittarius, just to say. It's very quickly reactive. Whereas air might react more from the mouth, like what you say, something cutting. Think about a sword, double-edged. Something that you say could really change somebody's life for good or for ill. Have you ever had somebody just say just the right thing to you in any moment, and it just made your day, your week, your month? And somebody says something negative to you, and it makes it your day, your week, your month not so great. And this is very important. And I do feel like a lot of this weekly reading is coming into what are you saying to yourself and what are you saying about others, especially because we've got this upside down knight, or a page of swords. So we'll start with the star card, which is all about hope and healing. And I mean, this is honestly one of my favorite cards in the whole deck. And it's really about tapping into your hopes and dreams. But because we have it upside down, we might ask ourselves, why don't we believe in our dreams? Why are we self-sabotaging our dreams? What are the delays on our dreams? Who are we sharing our dreams with? Because we've got a lot of air in this reading with the swords. So that is communication and connection. So are we sharing our dreams with people that are not nurturing them? It's like when you plant a bunch of tiny little seedlings into the ground, you know that some of them are not going to make it. And our dreams are like that. We will have many dreams, and some of them we won't invest time in protecting and composting and watering and whatnot. And so or maybe they just actually aren't for our soul's highest call. And so if that happens, and we share those dreams and somebody dashes them, it makes us less courageous. And Leo is a very courageous sign. And the opposite sign, the tarot card that links to Leo is the strength card. And in the strength card, we need the courage to feel the fear and do it anyway. So it very much balances out this card, because this is a 17. I know this is a bit like a teaching video, but this is a 17, and 1 plus 7 is 8. And the card I'm referring to is the 8th card of the Major Arcana. So we get this opportunity to have the courage to step into our dreams. If we're doing those two cards well, if we're doing that Leo Aquarius dynamic well, we have courage, we have connection, we have inspiration, because the sign of Aquarius is very much outside of the box thinking. It's very inspirational and idealistic, but also realistic. So if we're doing that well, we're stepping into our dreams. Because this whole reading is upside down, I ask you, why are you not stepping into your dreams? What about your dreams are you scared of? And do your dreams feel too big for you? Because remember, we're in the year of the snake in the Chinese zodiac. And this is a good time to really shed the skins that no longer fit, shed the versions of you that no longer fit. And that may be the versions of you that thought your dreams were too big. And it's time to dream big. It's okay to dream big and to recognize that not every single dream hits, but it's not because you should keep yourself small. That is never the reason. So the Page of Swords, I mean, I also actually really love this card, and it's upright. You can see she's managing to hold the balloon ideas. She's got these birds swooping around her. She's reading this huge and heavy book while she's tiptoeing across a tiny little pole to get across. And this is kind of very Gemini energy, actually. And Gemini is another one of the air signs. And pages are young, they're youthful, they're exuberant, and they usually bring a message. So if this card is more upright, where there's messages filled with ideas and idealistic ways to move forward, which very much ties into Aquarius. But Aquarius is maybe a little bit more mature with these ideas. So when this card is upside down, we might ask, are you not sharing your ideas? Or are you talking about frivolous, unimportant things? Are you getting all scatterbrained? Are you getting all gossipy? What stories are you telling that are really just not okay, not good for other people, not good for you? What narratives are continuing? And it could be the narrative that I'm not enough. So I would say, if you're a younger version of yourself, and maybe you're young now, but I would still take it to slightly younger version of yourself, or the current version of yourself, is behaving very youthfully, and not taking serious things seriously, or taking not serious things too seriously. And if you are talking out of turn, being very gossipy and arrogant, and just, what we can be like in that brashness of youth, you need to just balance it out. And it could be that your inner critic, especially because of what we get from this star card upside down, and in fact the sun card upside down, it could be that your inner critic is busy telling you that you're not enough. That's giving you this imposter syndrome vibe. So remember, when I do this reading, because it's not for you specifically, it's for anybody who makes their way here, I want you to always listen for what resonates with me. What is the seed that I need to germinate from this reading to start inquiring? Remember, Swords is very much like, let's think about this. Let me ruminate on this. So what is it that I need to start uncovering? Oh, yes, I have got a very loud self-saboteur or inner critic that is really telling me that my dreams are ridiculous and I'm not good enough, and having all that imposter syndrome BS. Maybe it's that. But if that doesn't resonate for you, find the thing that resonates, okay? Then we have the Sun card, also super lucky, abundant, expansive, warm, generous, gregarious, much like the Sun, which is the center of our solar system. And Leo is ruled by the Sun, as I mentioned. And you can see the beautiful, expansive posture that she has in this card, where she's open to receive. She's open to shine, to radiate, to just be the fullest version of herself, uninhibited. If we're getting this card upside down, it's like, why are we keeping ourselves small? Why are we feeling that we should play small, be small, like the louder version of ourselves is too much? So again, because of this card, it was feeling for me the more not enough, and this card is the maybe more too much. So which one hits more for you? And you might find that there are places in your life where you feel you're too much, and other places you feel you're not enough. And I think for most of us, that probably would ring true. And then you find yourself not speaking out, not shining bright because you think that you will be laughed at, you won't be enough, you know, whatever. Or you find yourself being your full version of yourself and then getting laughed at, and then kind of popping the bubble and coming down to size, so to speak. So again, because I'm with this page of swords upside down, I'm getting this kind of gossipy feeling. I want you to notice like what you are worrying about other people thinking and feeling about you. And perhaps it's based on past experiences where that did happen in the school ground. You did try to say something that was important to you and you did get laughed at. And I want you to remember that most of the people laughing, because you were probably also that person who said something unkind, who did something unkind, who went along with the crowd and laughed at somebody else, mostly because not that you were paying any attention to that other person, but because you didn't want to be that other person getting laughed at and picked on. So I want you to explore where you were both sides of that coin. And again, because here we have two sides of a coin with Aquarius and Leo, with the sun and the star card, are really bringing us this opportunity to look at where did I try to just stay small and stay in the group in order to fit in order to not be laughed at? Where did I not have the courage and the conviction to stand up and be me, even when that was hard, even when that was awkward, even when I maybe was judged or laughed at or whatever? I did it anyway. And that feels like a very important energy that we're trying to access at the moment. But because this whole reading's been upside down, we're not accessing it right now. We're avoiding it. But it's in that we get to get uncomfortable and explore why it is that we are being so ridiculous about being ourselves, because that's the only reason we're really here, is to be this full expression of ourselves. And we can bring so much more to the world if we do. And the last card that we get is the Six of Swords, so another swords card, and the only card that isn't kind of like either Major Arcana or Court card. We get this six, and this one is, it's always about taking a journey, moving on. It's very much the shedding the skin that I spoke about earlier, and I'm sure I spoke about last week, and I'm sure I'll be yammering on about for the next year, or at least the next few months while I'm really working with this energy of shedding skin. And here you see the three birds that are helping and the three that are flying away, and you see she's a little sad and a little uncertain of what the future holds, but she's realized she's had to take this journey. Now, upside down, maybe we've taken in the boat more than we needed. Maybe we are very burdened with the issues of our past, and we are making that journey across the channel, but we are carrying too much with us. So we haven't shed the skins, the layers. And I was thinking about this as well in terms of shedding layers and shedding past versions of ourselves. That's not because any of the past versions of yourselves were not okay. And I think to remember that as you shed a layer and as you shed a version, the old versions, every single one of them. So in my case, the Cindys that I was from the moment I was born to the Cindy that I am now, they're all woven into the fabric of the new version of me. It's not gone. It's just transformed and transmuted. So you don't really ever leave anything behind entirely, but those shedding moments are the opportunity to shrug off the parts that are too heavy to carry for the next version, not needed anymore. And even the hard things were needed for a period, because those hard things taught us they pushed us to change. They pushed us to transform. They got us so uncomfortable in the skin we were in, we had to shed it. So there is a bit of a resistance here. There is a bit of a delay. There is have I made the right decision? I don't know how to let this go fully. How do I slow this trip down? How do I turn this boat around? All of those kind of feelings with this card. And so there is a lot to explore in this week's reading, very much internally, but I also think it's going to be extremely reflected in the external, because I do feel like it has a lot to do. I mean, this is a very bright being seen kind of card for a start, and this is the hopes and dreams that generally you have with yourself first. They're not really shared until they're shared, and it's like that balance of what's going on with me and how am I reflecting it out in the world? When I reflect it out in the world, how is it being received? And how is that impacting me? How is that wounding me, or how is that encouraging me? And can I find the strength to do it differently if I need to, or to do it bigger if I need to, or to keep my cards closer to my chest, except with some trusted people if I need to? How do I need to shift so that I can shed these skins? And remember, when a skin is first shed, the new skin is very vulnerable. It's very vulnerable. And that is where we want to stay, where we're safe. And then when that skin has toughened up a little, we need to step out there and shine and be the best version of you. Okay, see, already over 15 minutes. So I'm going to sign off. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing, commenting, and being part of my community.